you mentioned, the new wave of movements we see kind of springing up, the hip clams and turning on the glutes, activating before a squat session. I've been noodling on something for a while of this kind of obsession that's largely driven by cultural things like social media, and is particularly prevalent for women now, which is this craze, like big butts are back in fashion, right? And it's hip extensions galore, and it's these girls are putting up really impressive weights, 225, 250, massive hip extensions, really overdeveloped glutes. Again, knowing that there is consequences in a complex system, do you think like the big booty craze and obsession with hip extensions, etc., could have negative consequences in the kinetic chain?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not convinced any fads or crazes are that good for the human being per se, but that's kind of life, isn't it? And we have to let people do their thing. Um, what people are probably missing, because they're so busy looking at the big booty, is going to be the valgus knees and the flat feet and the turnout and the that comes as a result of that, or the anterior tilt in the pelvis that's compressing through the lumbars. I don't know. Breast enlargements, big butt exercises, like these. What I mean by crazes is that they don't necessarily do us favors in the long term. But I'm I'm quite quick to say, I think it's great to eliminate that kind of. For me, it's all about the bones, the skeleton. Underneath everything, we're all the same. We are all the same. We're just skeletons. There's no colors. There's no nothing. We just everyone's the same at the core, and that's where the magic is done. So if people are doing work in their muscle tissues and it's compromising the system, if they have a problem, we don't have to worry about breaking habits or changing fads or getting them off social media. It's like, okay, this is what you need to do. These are how your bones are supposed to move, and when you do that, you'll have comfort in your system. You can set yourself free. You can reorganize it. That in itself will help people change their minds. I don't want to go back to that place. I want to have a place where I'm free to do this and play tennis at the weekend without problem and go climbing. And that comes from the skeleton, from the bones being able to do everything it needs to do in 3 dimensions. Each dimension has 2 ways of movement: flexion, extension, flexion, abduction, rotate left, rotate right, and other different words, but basically the same movements up and down the body. And I think that's where, because I started off as a trainer, it was I got to get people's nutrition right, and then I've got to get their mental state right. Now I've got to get people meditating, and eventually it was like, do you know what? I can just work with the skeleton. It does everything for me. That's my take on it. From people who you think they've got emotional issues affecting their body. Like, if we deal with the body, it really inspires them. The emotional issues can just kind of start to dissipate. Obviously, there's much bigger conversation there, but that was my chosen way in, and always will be. The bones. Phil Greenfield said something like, our bones will be here long after you're gone, so you should take care of them.
All right, friends, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Radical Health Radio. We got a fresh new podcast for you every Wednesday. If you enjoyed the show, consider liking, subscribing, reviewing, and rating us on your podcast platform. It helps to spread this message of radical health. We'll see you next week.